Welcome back to the Malted Man Cave. I'm your host Keith, and tonight I'm going to be doing a whiskey that I believe still currently holds a world record in whiskey and was generously gifted to me by George Kaplan and his beautiful wife. Coming up. Alright, so we're back, and tonight we're going to be reviewing, or I'm going to be reviewing. Dave is not here this evening, I'm flying solo. And we're going to be doing a little bit of a quick review of the Bruichladdich Octomore 8.3. George and Amy, you guys are amazing. They're two of my best Patreons. They're good friends and an amazing part of the whiskey community. So I just want to say thank you to you guys again. And this whiskey is amazing, so thank you 2 times. A little bit about Bruichladdich. I believe it was founded in about 1881, and it's kind of had a little bit of a rough history where it's been open and then it's been closed down. It's been reopened and then it's been mothballed again. And it's kind of gone on quite a bit over the last 100 years or so. And I believe the last time that it was shut down was in 1995, I believe. It was mothballed. Then in around 2000, a group of businessmen, I'm not going to get into all the names, a consortium of multiple investors decided to go ahead and buy it and reopen it again under the leadership mainly of a guy by the name of Mark Rainier, I think I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, and then obviously, as we all know, Jim McEwen, who I believe used to be either the distillery manager or the malt master for Bowmore. And you know, I have a little bit of a man crush on him. I really like him. He's just kind of an awesome, charismatic figure, and he knows how to make good whiskey. He does it right. And Bruichladdich and obviously Port Charlotte and Octomore, they're two more heavily peated. They're just really known for doing things with quality, and they're focusing on craft presentation, so non-chill filtering, higher ABVs. They are not coloring, and the thing that they're probably the most famous for is terroir. I think that I'm pronouncing that right as a, hillbilly American. Which terroir and then obviously provenance, the two kind of go together. It's kind of just the magic of this particular spot where the distillery sits. It just has this it factor. There's just something about the earth, the ground, the air, this, the Islay characteristics that just make it prime for this particular region to make an amazing whiskey, along with the whole provenance concepts of we're using barley from this distillery, or from this farm down the road. We're getting this, and we're using these casks, and they're telling you the casks that they're using so that we can kind of see what the heck is going into this whiskey, which I, for one, am a fan of this new kind of trend that's happening. I think it's going in the right direction. So, as I said before, I believe that this currently holds the world record for being the world's most heavily peated whiskey to date. And it clocks in at 309.1 ppms, which I don't understand. I was talking with a couple other, or texting back and forth in a group chat that we have in the whiskytube community. I think it was either Rob from Whiskey in the Six or a couple other people, and we were just saying, it just doesn't make sense, like how it is still so smooth and be that heavily peated. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some freaking peat in this, but it's still so smooth and sweet. I don't understand how it's that heavily peated, but apparently it is. So 309.1 ppms, which I don't think that record has been broken to date. If I'm wrong, if something else has come out more recently, leave a comment and let us know. The cask maturation for this beauty is 56% of it was first fill bourbon, and the other 44% of it is in European oak that contained X wine. I think it's, and I'm going to butcher these pronunciations, Pauliac wine, Vinteux, Rhone, and Burgundy cask, which is really sad because I did take 2 years of French, and really all I can say now is Je m'appelle Keith, ça va très bien. So I guess if you don't use it, you lose it. Another fact about this, it was aged 5 years. Anything else I want to say about this whiskey? I don't think so. So without any further ado, let's get into some whiskey. just in case I screw up this video, I'm not going to pour it all. In case I need to have an outtake. Or I have to shoot the video again. Oh my goodness, guys. George, I love you, man. Thank you so much for this. And Amy, thank you for letting him buy whiskey and sending me samples. I love you too. First thing I get, which I often get with Bruichladdich, Port Charlotte, Octomores, is underbaked sugar cookies. And obviously you get that Islay, a little salinity, almost like sugar cookies that were underbaked with a little bit of like salt sprinkled on it. Not too much, just a little bit. Obviously from the bourbon cask you get toffee, vanilla, a little bit of fennel, allspice, and one of the most bizarre notes that I got in this one that I don't think I've ever had in a whiskey before is I put that it smells like a manly flannel shirt. Whatever the frick that smells like. But if you know, ever went up and smelled a flannel shirt, that is what this smells like. Maybe with a little, you know, Old Spice, cologne. Who knows? Manly flannel shirt. You heard it first here at the Malted Man Cave. Butterscotch pudding, a little bit of sawdust. And then the smoke really comes in. There's a strong bonfire smoke. Then it comes in a little bit of Floral-lilies and buttercups. And then lastly, I get this real spicy red wine Cabernet Sauvignon kind of smell with like the tannins and the spicy red wine characteristics. All right, on to the palate. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. 300, the most heavily peated whiskey in the world. And yes, there is peat in here, but it's so smooth and sweet and rich and like balanced. It's not, you would think that this would be just so gross. Like, and I like peat. I love peat. And I love to have that fast, you know, that face slapping term that everyone says, like peat right in your face, but it's just so balanced. It's not overly peated at all. Interesting note, there are some people that argue about how we get those ppm levels, that they get it at certain times in the process may not be accurate to the final what we get in the product. So do some research on that. I'm not going to get into it tonight. Again, sugar cookies. Salted butterscotch pudding, but this time on the palate it's like there's a touch of like Tabasco sauce and vinegar. It's just got this extra kick to it that you do not get on the nose. There's the peat coming in a little bit. Wow, and I think even a little bit of the red wine cask are kind of adding to that spicy Tabasco sauce and vinegar. Then obviously the bourbon cask come back in with the vanilla, the fennel, the allspice, and again the flannel, the manly flannel shirt. Spicy wood smoke and drying oak. On the palate, I get a little chocolate raspberry cheesecake, which is, it is very, very good. And then last but not least, it kind of goes back in again to that red wine, Cabernet, spicy Cabernet Sauvignon. So last but not least, on to the finish. The sugar cookies just barely there. You get that fennel, allspice, flannel shirt, wood smoke, bonfire smoke, a little bit of raspberries and the red wine Cabernet Sauvignon, and then just really ends on this super, super drying. I guess it comes back into that flannel shirt, like I'm just like munching on a flannel t-shirt of this drying. I guess I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, that's about as good as I can say, guys. All right, so Malted Man Cave mark for this beauty. this piece of history, this world record holding whiskey is a 92 out of 100. Very, very good stuff. George and Amy, I love you guys. Thank you so much for letting me have the privilege of sampling this little bit of history and sampling this whiskey along with many others that you guys have sent me that the reviews will be coming up soon. Thank you guys as always for watching. Like, subscribe, please leave comments. We love talking with you guys. Hopefully we can learn stuff from you and you guys can learn some stuff from us. If you guys are interested in Patreon and supporting the channel, at the end of this video there should be a link. You can also see on our website there should be a link to Patreon. No pressure. If you guys don't have the money, you don't want to, no pressure at all. It's just for anybody that would be possibly interested in just promoting and helping the channel. As I've said before, whiskey is not cheap, and I pay for all the whiskey myself. I'm not a millionaire. I am not independently wealthy, and this all comes to the chagrin of my wife. So if you guys are interested in that, we would love to have you guys support us on Patreon. So again, I just want to say thank you to all of you guys for your support and watching our show, subscribing, and just supporting us with your kind comments. Here's to you guys. Let's launch it.